You've often heard a popular notion that life path numbers can reflect a person's characteristics. Things like their strengths, weaknesses, and life themes. The idea says that life path numbers range from 1 to 9, and each number carries its own unique energy. For example, life path 1 is often associated with leadership and innovation. Life path 2 is said to represent harmony, cooperation, and balance, and so on. But if this is true, it raises an important question. What happened before numbers were even discovered or invented? The short answer is simple. Nothing happened. Because numbers were not discovered as forces that control life. They were invented as tools to describe patterns that already existed. Let's break this down logically. 1. Numbers did not create reality. Humans created number systems to measure, count, and describe reality. For example, 3 trees existed long before anyone called them 3. 2 people existed before the symbol 2 was ever written down. In other words, numbers are simply labels we assign to quantities and patterns that already exist in the world. Ancient civilizations like the Sumerians, the Egyptians, and the Indus Valley Civilization developed early number systems mainly for practical reasons: trade, astronomy, architecture, and record keeping. So the phenomenon came first, the numbers came later. 2. Where does the concept of life path numbers come from? The concept of life path numbers comes from numerology, a belief system that assigns symbolic meaning to numbers. Historically, this idea is often associated with the Greek philosopher Pythagoras, who believed numbers held deeper spiritual significance. Numerology assumes a few key things. First, that numbers carry vibrational energy. Second, that your birth date can be converted into a single number. And third, that this number supposedly reflects your personality or even your destiny. But here's the blunt reality. There is no scientific evidence that life path numbers determine personality or destiny. Psychology explains why many people still feel that numerology works. One reason is the Barnum effect, where vague, general statements feel extremely personal. Another reason is confirmation bias, where people naturally remember the information that supports what they already believe. For example, if someone reads that life path 1, people are natural leaders, many people will think, that's exactly me. But the statement is broad enough that a lot of people could identify with it. 3. What existed before numbers? Before humans created number systems, several things were still true. People still had personalities. People still showed leadership qualities. People still had strengths and weaknesses. The only difference is that none of these traits were categorized by numbers. Over time, humans created systems to make sense of human behavior and life patterns. Some of these include astrology, numerology, personality typing systems, and modern psychological frameworks. All of these systems attempt to simplify the incredible complexity of human nature. 4. The real drivers of personality. Modern psychology suggests that personality is shaped by several major factors, which are genetics, environment, culture, life experiences, and neurobiology. One well-known research-based framework is the Big 5 personality traits, which studies patterns like openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and emotional stability. Unlike numerology, this framework is supported by decades of scientific research. The bottom line here is, numbers did not assign human destiny. Humans created numbers after observing reality, and later some belief systems began attaching symbolic meanings to them. So, before numbers existed, life still happened exactly the same way. People simply had no numerical labels for it. If you found this perspective helpful, like the video and subscribe for more content on psychology, human behavior, and personal development.